Hey guys, Jake with Evolving Daily. This is going to be part 2 of the holster reviews. In the first video it was showing my 17 with GreenForce and my Shield with a couple other holsters. This is going to be the more in-depth part of my GreenForce Tactical. I've had it for 10-11 months now and a few thousand draw strokes. I a week or so ago went to tactical response, and on top of my couple thousand draw strokes before there, got to roll around the dirt and the mud and shoot a bunch, draw from positions that I hadn't drawn from before, supine and kneeling and stuff like that. And as far as GreenForce goes, it's about like a Glock. It's just boring reliability. It does everything it's supposed to do without any drawbacks. There's no negative side effects with this holster. I really can't say enough good about it. They're one of their pancake style inside the waistband light bearing holster. So just a quick close up of it. It's black on the front, red on the back. Got some red rivets just for cockiness. I've trimmed the soft belt loops because I wear them at 1.5 for a 1.5 belt, and there was just a little bit extra sticking up, so I've trimmed those down. That wasn't from wear and tear or anything. You can see where their retention is, the adjustments. Double soft loops right on the deck. This isn't a strut or anything like that. I've worn this thing daily for 10-11 months and it's awesome. It never shifts around, it never moves. I've tried a couple other holsters that throughout the day it may tilt up a little bit or tilt down, slide them around a little bit on my belt. If I put this on in the morning and for some reason I don't get it exactly where I want to, I have to unclip it. I have to unclip the soft loops and slide it forward to clip it back. The retention of position, I guess it would be something like that. Once you put it there for the day, it's there. It doesn't move at all. I wear it on an SOE rigid 1.5. And one thing that I'd never really appreciated with it until I'd had some other shitty holsters for my Shield is how smooth all the lines are. You can kind of look, there's no real sharp edges. On some holsters I've tried, there's around the end of the slide, it's a really hard edge. And on this side it doesn't really matter, even if it did have one. But in here, you know, where you hold it against your body, it's super smoothed out. Some other holsters I've seen guys wear, later on in the holster's life, it'll get white, kind of discolored marks in some of the hard bends, and there's nothing. I mean, this Kydex looks, other than some places where I've scuffed it up maybe, this Kydex looks like the day I got it. Really the only thing different from the day it came in the mail to me was there's some wear on the buckles, which that's going to happen, and I've trimmed those off. But GreenForce Tactical, I really just can't say enough good about it. Christian Green is a great guy. Whenever I ordered this one, he didn't offer a 17 light bearing. And this was, I think his company was still not small, but not as streamlined as it is now. And on the website there wasn't an option for a TLR-1 on a Glock 17 inside the waistband and all that. So I emailed him and said, hey, this is what I've got, this is what I'd like to have. He was back to me in like an hour, and this was late at night. Back to me in like an hour, said, yep, we can do that, it'll take this long, yada yada yada, and got it stamped out in no time and shipped to me. And at that point in time, I'd had some other junky holsters, and it's one of those things, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know how good a holster can be until you get a quality holster. I'd had other ones with plastic clips that would pull out sometimes. So then you'd have to wear your belt to where it was cutting you in half to keep it from coming out. And I had some other holsters that they would just shift around throughout the day. Even with soft loops, they would move around, up, down, forward, backward. And when it comes to something you're going to you could possibly count your life on, it needs to be in that exact same spot every time. Every time you reach back there, you need to know that it's there. This is a heavy gun. It's a Glock 17 with the TLR-1. This isn't some pocket rocket that you can just throw in some junk holster on a bullshit belt and get along with it. That's not going to work. This is a big boy gun. It needs a big boy quality holster, and that's exactly what this is. So just to show, it's heavy and it's not coming out of there. And another thing that I really like with my holsters, and it's just kind of a personal preference thing, I guess, but I can take this out of lockup just a little bit. You know, if I would bump it or something throughout the day and bring it out just a hair, it still holds. And that's not in lockup. A fully loaded gun. And it still holds. Another holster that I had at one point in time, and I've heard other guys talk about this, that the flashlight is wider than the pistol, and all the retention ends up being on the pistol, or ends up being on the flashlight. So if they, for some reason, want to run without their flashlight, or their flashlight's fucked up, or they grab another 17 that doesn't have a flashlight on it and try to jam it in that holster, it'll go in the holster just fine, but all the retention was on the light, so now the holster doesn't work, or it works very poorly. That's not the case with this. I have taken my light off and put it in this holster, and it's just the same. It doesn't come out at all. And I think that's because GreenForce actually spends time to make their holsters right. They don't just throw it together. They have a process. They don't just put something together, yeah, it works good enough, and send it out the door to make a couple bucks. And if you send a message to them on Facebook, they're going to get back to you, or you email the company, they're going to get back to you. If you've got questions or concerns about it, get a hold of them. You know, send them an email. Hey, I've got this and I want to put that on it, or I've got this special stuff. And from some of the interviews I've seen Christian do, he loves doing that shit. He said that he doesn't want to make another black plain holster ever again. So if it's something custom or goofy ass colors, because he does some wild shit, get a hold of him. He's not going to mess you over. He's going to help you out. And as far as price, they're about the same as a lot of other holster companies, if not cheaper. You're not going to have to spend an arm and a leg to get a holster that you can trust your life on. Their stuff works, it's affordable, and you're buying from a gun guy, a guy who gets out and trains. He does the same stuff that we do. He's not just sitting behind a desk somewhere counting money. He's actually out doing this stuff. And for a holster that holds up as well as this does, and its price, you can't beat it. If you're wanting something, a couple different colors, and maybe you've got some light bolted onto it that nobody's heard of, or even if you just have a Glock 17, Glock 19, anything. Look up GreenForce and you won't be disappointed. Guys, remember, you need to prepare to thrive while others survive. Anybody can say in a video that something works, so just as an illustration, my Glock 17, fully loaded, without the flashlight on the bottom, and it still holds. I've tried a couple other holsters and they wouldn't do this. Not at all. All the tension was on the light, which it is wider than the pistol. But I think one of the things that sets GreenForce Tactical apart is that they engineer their stuff. They don't just bend some Kydex around a gun and ship it out. They actually spend the time to see what works, what doesn't, what needs improved. They're on Facebook and all kinds of different groups. You know, if someone has a little bit of an issue, maybe this could be a little tighter, that could be a little looser. They look into that stuff and see if that's viable and see if that's something they need to do.